Your favorite romance book hasn't come out yet, but it might come out this year. I've put together a list of the most anticipated swoon-worthy romances coming out in 2025, so you can mark your calendars, add them to your TBR, call in sick to work. We don't judge around here. So get your Kindle, get your Goodreads, get cozy. These will ruin your life in the best way. Before we get into the heavy hitters, I want to shout out two honorable mentions. First, we have Onyx Storm. This is a romantasy that dropped in January. It's the third book in the Fourth Wing series. And this is a scary thing to say in the current romantasy climate, but I actually like the love interest in Fourth Wing better than the love interest in ACOTAR. I know. Don't shoot the messenger. This is very entry-level fantasy with lots of romance, lots of magic, dragon riding. I already read it and loved it, so if this sounds interesting to you at all, I cannot recommend it enough. And of course, the new Hunger Games book by Suzanne Collins, Sunrise on the Reaping, comes out on March 18th. So soon when you're watching this, go pre-order it. I have it linked in the description. Of course, it's technically YA dystopian society, but let's be real, there will be a romance subplot that will destroy our lives. Definitely don't expect a happily ever after. Now let's talk about the books still to come that will inevitably take over our lives this year. Starting out strong, I love everything Emily Henry has ever done, and I'm sure Great Big Beautiful Life will be no exception. It comes out on April 22nd, and it's about two writers competing for the chance to tell the larger-than-life story of a tragic heiress, former tabloid princess, and daughter of one of the most storied and scandalous families in the 20th century. To me, this sounds like Beach Read meets The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid, who also has a new book coming out this year. We'll talk about that in a sec. Emily has also said she tried something new this time, and fun fact, it was inspired by The Last Great American Dynasty by Taylor Swift, which I am obviously partial to considering my name. The very next month, we will be blessed with not one, but two new romance books by two of my favorite nostalgic summer romance authors. Especially their books last year were really good. On May 6th, One Golden Summer by Carley Fortune comes out. This one is about a photographer, and if her other books are anything to go off of, this will include a lake, a hot guy, and a second chance romance that will have you considering texting your ex just to check in. At the end of May, on the 27th, Annabel Monaghan comes out with It's a Love Story, which obviously already sounds very Taylor Swift coded. Her books really hit the perfect blend of witty banter and emotional depth for me. And this one has a really fun premise of a former adolescent TV star turned Hollywood producer who takes fake it till you make it a little too far, which will inevitably lead her to the love of her life, of course. What else can we expect? As promised, let's talk TJR. I became obsessed with her books about 2 years ago, and I've been waiting ever since for a new one to come out. On June 3rd, we get Atmosphere, and this one is a little different than her other books. It's set against the backdrop of a 1980s space shuttle program. Super interesting concept. I personally am hoping this will be a little bit more like When True Loves, a little less Evelyn Hugo, but I'm sure it's going to be amazing regardless. Later that month, we get Sounds Like Love, and Ashley Poston has got to be one of the most unique romance authors right now. If you've read any of her other books, like 7 Year Slip, you know she always has some type of magical element, but her stories are still very grounded in the modern day real world. And I'm admittedly not a huge fantasy person, so I personally love this. From what we know about this one, it is about an LA songwriter that has writer's block, who's starting to have a telepathic connection with a guy who is writing a song of his own, and of course they end up having to work together, and I'm sure they will end up falling in love. Her books are just a breath of fresh air for me, so I'm super excited, and I highly recommend giving something by her a shot. Last but certainly not least, Ali Hazelwood has blessed us with the much anticipated sequel to Bride, and it's called Mate. I have to say, Bride was one of my most unexpected favorite books of last year. I haven't read anything else by her, but one of my favorite book talkers, Morgan, Books and Looks, always recommends it as just a super cozy read, so I gave it a shot, And she is so right. It's just super fun and cozy. Honestly, kind of give me Twilight vibes, which, if you know me, you know is huge for me to say. It teases the sequel at the end of the book, so when I finished it, I immediately was Googling when it was coming out, and it wasn't announced yet, so I'm super glad it's officially been announced. Seriously, do yourself a favor and read Bride so that you can read Mate when it comes out on October 7th. And that's my list. Which book are you most excited for? Did I miss any? If I did, feel free to yell at me in the comments. I am always looking for more people to talk romance books with. And if this resonated with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Let's romanticize life together. And you can also find me on TikTok and Instagram at Forever Becca. Until next time, sending you love.